Finally, the international break is over and Celtic are back playing week in, week out. In today's video, we'll go through all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours, which also includes a player Celtic staff have been amazed by. But first, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Celtic content. Celtic welcomed back the whole squad to Lennox Town on Friday. With cameras allowed in, it showed Dyson Maeda back in training following a stint where injury pulled him away from his international duties with Japan. Maeda was initially rostered alongside fellow Celtic aces Hatate and Kyogo for the friendlies against Canada and Tunisia. Yet, an unfortunate injury saw him bowing out of the squad, which had Celtic fans chewing their nails over the severity of the issue. Fast forward to today, and the scene at the training ground was lively as Maeda showed no ill effects of an injury as the boys geared up for the upcoming face-off against Hearts this weekend. The timing is pretty neat as Maeda is celebrating his 26th birthday today. The player has already made 11 appearances so far this season. With a trip to Tynecastle awaiting them this Sunday, the Celts are eyeing up to either hold on to or widen their 7-point lead that crowns them the current leaders of the Scottish Premiership table. The return of Maeda just might add that extra bit of firepower they need to keep the momentum going. On the fringe of the Celtic team, winger Mikey Johnston is a figure who splits opinion among the support. Having been involved in the first team setup for a number of years now, his future seems to be continually up in the air. In his pre-match press conference ahead of this Sunday's clash with Hearts, Brendan Rodgers spoke about the attacker. He said, "For me, between the end of the summer window and January, he has to prove that he can stay fit, stay robust, and build up his football fitness, and we'll see if he can get some game time because he's a talented player." Johnston got those minutes with Ireland, and in the recent break, he scored for his country. His fitness is building, and Rodgers is hoping he can play for the Hoops. He said, "He gets a chance to prove it every day in training. He looks strong, and I'm hopeful he may get some game time." Rather than playing James Forrest for the closing minutes of games, Rodgers may be better off putting on Johnston, who has a point to prove. His situation is certainly one to keep an eye on, and in the upcoming 3 weeks there could well be several opportunities for him to take the field and really grab a first team opportunity. People close to Ryan Christie have indicated there is interest from Celtic and Brendan Rodgers in making a move to re-sign the Scotland international. The report states those in Christie's camp believe Rodgers remains a big fan of the attacking midfielder. With his contract expiring at the end of the season, he would be free to speak to any club about a free transfer in just a couple of months. However, it's reported that Bournemouth are pushing to extend his current deal at the Cherries, with Christie installed as a week-to-week regular in the English Premier League. It's said positive talks have been held to that end, despite interest from elsewhere. Christie enjoyed a Celtic resurgence under Rodgers during his manager's first spell at the club. He was plucked from the fringes of the squad and made a key player, contributing to significant trophy success. He ended up making over 150 appearances for the boys, scoring 42 goals and assisting 44 more. The boyhood boys fan left the summer of 2021, playing 85 times for Bournemouth since then. Team Talk reports that Christie is only earning £22,000 a week in England, which is pretty low for a player in the top flight. If they aren't able to offer him a significant wage increase, he may well find himself in a position to test the market this January. Christie is represented by the PLG agency, which also looks after current Celtic stars Greg Taylor, David Turnbull and Nat Phillips. Brendan Rodgers has provided Celtic supporters with an update on summer signing Marco Tilio, who has yet to make his debut for the boys. Tilio is the most expensive A-League export in history, joining from Melbourne City during the last transfer window. There's been keen intrigue about what he can offer. Sadly, an initial injury issue and fitness problems have hampered his progress. Rodgers reckons he's found the transition to the Scottish champions difficult, but there are signs of progress. The Celtic boss said in his press conference today, "It's just time. I think he'll admit to himself it's been a really hard transition for him. Just the intensity of the game is totally different to what he's been used to, so it's been a challenge for him in training. It's always difficult when you're a new player coming into a new club and then you're injured through pre-season and into September. He's starting to find his feet now in the last 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to take him more time, but I'm not in any big rush for Marco. I think he'll bring himself into the team as quickly as he can produce. But he's adapting. It's taken a wee bit longer for him to just play because of the intensity of the game. It's totally different to where he's come from." With Maeda and Palmer available, Rodgers does have a strong starting options on the wing. Hyunjin Yang is clearly ahead of Tilio in that pecking order too. It sounds like Tilio still has to prove himself in training sessions before thinking about getting any competitive minutes under his belt. If he isn't close to featuring by this time in January rolls round, it may even be worth loaning him out to another Premiership side on a short-term basis to help him adjust to what is expected of him in Scotland. Matt O'Reilly has been a clear standout for Celtic so far this season. The midfielder is the Scottish Premiership's top scorer and is on a continual upward trajectory. Having registered 7 goal contributions in 8 league games so far in the 2023-24 season, he earned a Denmark call-up in the recent international break. The process of heeding the call was rather rapid, said O'Reilly. I wasn't expecting it by any means. I was sat on a balcony in Spain, I just got a call and that was it. It was obviously a proud moment for me and obviously my family too. They made the journey to the game, my mum, dad and my girlfriend, so a good effort from them to come to San Marino even when I didn't play. In the November internationals, O'Reilly will be keen to get on the pitch for his country. His club form needs to be kept at a high level for this to transpire at the minute. That looks likely. The 22-year-old put a lot of his form at the minute down to the mental aspect of his game. He said, I'm in a good place myself mentally, so naturally I've got the platform to show that. I think I probably had that before, but it's just a case of me showing it on a regular basis, and I feel in a good place mentally to do that. It will be hoped by Brendan Rodgers and his coaching team that the Dane can continually hit new heights. His stock is only rising with his current form, which is of optimum quality. Celtic return to the action after the long international break this Sunday against Hearts. The Tynecastle clash takes place on October the 22nd. Amusingly, that's exactly 1 year on from the action-packed visit we had last season at Hearts. On October 22nd, 2022, Ange Postecoglou's Celtic triumphed, a 4-3 winners at Tynecastle, in a game that had to be seen to be believed. We led, we trailed, we led again, and we were paid back, then we won it through Greg Taylor. The goal scoring was only half of the story though. VAR used in its first televised Premiership match dominated headlines. It was used to give Hearts a penalty, not used for an offside hoops goal that looked marginally at best, and Michael Smith's handball, need I say any more. Adding to the feeling of deja vu ahead of this weekend is the fact that the referee from the match, Nick Walsh, is also in charge of Sunday's game. Thankfully this time there's no Stephen McLean on VAR. Instead it will be Andrew Dallas. The assistants are Daniel McFarlane and Callum Spence. The fourth official is Colin Stephen. That Tynecastle win this time last year was a huge moment in our season, and certainly one of our biggest on our way to 2 in a row. If the team can come out on the right side of a result this weekend, you feel like it could have a similar impact. Drama never seems too far away when we venture to Edinburgh, but equally would we all settle for a very boring routine win. Celtic fans, what do you make of Mikey Johnston's chances? And let me know your score predictions for Hearts in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. We have a Brendan Rodgers Poe t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celticapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.